guys, Julia here from JM Squared Vintage. Welcome back to the channel. I am here today with a bins haul, a really good day at the bins. I didn't have a ton of time to spend there, but man, did I find some gems, some great Bolo brands. One of the things that I absolutely love to find at the bins. Lots of interesting stuff, some cool vintage pieces, lots and lots to talk about. But before we get started here, guys, if this is your first time here, if this is your first time stumbling on my channel, first and foremost, welcome. I am Julia, that is my name. We talk all things thrifting and vintage and the business of reselling on the internet here. If that sounds like something that you might be into, consider hitting subscribe down below. I would love to have you along on this journey. But without further ado, guys, we have a lot of stuff to get through. I think I've got like 36 or 37 pieces here. So why don't you go grab yourself a snack, grab yourself a drink. You know I've got my matcha latte. So sit back, relax, and let's get into the goods. Okay, so we're gonna start this off with kind of the bigger thing. And this is something that I absolutely positively love to find in the bins. It's enormous. So this, which I'm sure you cannot see, is a Crate and Barrel, nope, Pottery Barn. I will forever confuse the two of those. This is a Pottery Barn Belgian flax linen diamond quilted blanket. So this retailed, and I'm pretty sure that this is a king size. This retails for like $398. It's basically like a lightweight quilt. And honestly, if I was still in my old house in Utah, I would have kept this because I love navy, I love blue, period. But like I love navy blue, it's like my favorite color. And I was a big fan of like crisp white and navy blue in bedrooms. So this would have been something I would have kept for myself. But here, because everything is like off-white and much warmer tone, maybe not something I'll hold on to and I'll move it on to somebody else. On the resale market, this blanket in navy blue in king size has been selling between $150 and $200. So just a friendly reminder, guys, to like not discount bedding. Obviously, if you see crappy bed in the bag bedding, all that kind of stuff, move it aside. But if you see, like for me, it's if I see linen. If I see like a big piece of linen, that generally tells me that that is linen bedding. And even more so than like percale or anything like that, linen is super pricey and it is something that like people pay up for. I have sold countless sheet set, duvet covers, and like all for like near 100 and up. I've sold several like duvet sets for over $200. Like there is money to be made there. And I feel like it's something that people just look right past. Even if you're in the thrift store and your thrift store has like a big bedding section, like flip through and see if you find something like this. Now, second tip on bedding is to keep your eyes out for like vintage bedding. And I am not the person to give you the information on this because I haven't really found anything, but many of you have talked about finding like vintage. For example, the big name that I remember hearing is Ralph Lauren bedding. If you are somebody who does this a lot, if you are somebody who has a good amount of knowledge in like vintage bedding, vintage Ralph Lauren bedding, please leave in the comments like the kind of stuff that you're looking for. You know, is it the floral patterns? Is it the plaids? Is it whatever it is? Like let me know and let everybody else know what they should be looking for. I know that there's a ton of money in it and I know that there's a ton of people looking for it. So let's make sure we're catching these treasures before they go out to the baler. Either way. Amazing way to start the day. Next up, I grabbed this little top. This is from a brand called Atria, like a single of an atrium. This is 90s vintage for sure. Like this smells specifically like exclamation. And if you were around in the 90s, you know exactly what that smell is. So I'm guessing that whoever owned this wore exclamation. That stuff like smells forever. But it's this cute little sleeveless top. It's got a zip closure there. It's got like, I don't even know what you would call this. It's not quite a peplum, but it's got this little like cinched in silhouette. It is, let's see, can we see the size anymore? The size, it looks like the paper tag behind the label is all gone, but I'm gonna guess that this is probably like a size medium, maybe even a size large. This feels very 90s club wear, 90s minimalist, very simple, very plain. So I will be using all of those keywords. This will go in no time flat. I'm gonna guess I'll probably get somewhere around $30 for this, maybe 30, 35. I think it's really cool and I think it's really chic and I think it's a great way to blend that like 90s minimalist aesthetic into like a modern wardrobe. This also feels a little bit like The Nanny. Who knew that Fran Drescher would be the person leading the Screen Actors Guild in their fight against the tech tyrants? I did not have that on my bingo card, but I love that for her. Next up, this is a little piece from Scotch and Soda. Scotch and Soda is a brand, like sometimes it sells fabulous for me and sometimes it's not that great. I tend to have a little bit better luck with the men's pieces. Very expensive brand. This is based in Amsterdam, I'm pretty sure. Yep, Amsterdam Couture. And their vibe is very like outdoors chic. I don't know how else to describe that. Like it feels like the stuff is like similar to the stuff you see at like REI, but like made of nicer fabrics. You know what I'm saying? So kind of like cosplaying as a hiker almost. But either way, this is just like a little rayon shirt. It's got like a floral and bird pattern here. And then it's got this like rib detail right around the sleeve. So I'm not quite sure what I'll get for this. I'll bank on somewhere between like 20 and 35. But Scotch and Soda is a brand that is very, very, very expensive. So it is something to keep your eyes out for. Like, would I have been a player on this at the regular thrift? Maybe. I would have done a sold comp search on it. And if it was in that like $25 range, oh, I would have walked away. But at the bins, for sure, I'm always gonna be a player on Scotch and Soda, as long as it's in good shape. Next up, this is a little top from Rag & Bone. And Rag & Bone is another brand that I've really slowed down on picking up. But this shirt feels a little bit like an exception. This feels kind of very core to like their vibe. This is just a lightweight cotton, kind of herringbone if you look really close at that weave. I like that it's got like poplin underneath the collar here, gives it a little bit of structure. There's even a little pocket for collar stays, which I usually don't see in shirts this like casual, but it's in great condition. It's a size medium. Again, something I'll probably see like 25 to 35 bucks on, maybe a little bit more. Like Rag & Bone, this probably costs like $250 to $300. Rag & Bone is so expensive. But on the resale market, it just does not sell for that high in relation to the retail price, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't sell for like a decent price as long as you're sourcing it at the right price. So great little find. But with Rag & Bone in general right now, you just have to make sure that the profit is there. Like, don't get me wrong, those like sweatpant jeans that went super viral in the last year or two, those still resell for over $100. I think they're called like the Miramar jeans or something like that. But in terms of their resale value, it's hit or miss. So just make sure that the profit is there as compared to what you are getting it for. Next up, you will never keep me away from anything like this. This Irish linen, you just know the feel of Irish linen once you get familiar with Irish linen. This is vintage Banana Republic, made in India, 100% Irish linen. Like, this tag to me is pure gold. I'll take everything about this tag. I'm in. Vintage Banana Republic, 100% Irish linen, made in India. It's just a little coral button down loop collar shirt. I think this is meant to be worn like spread collar style. I have had quite a few of these shirts over the years, and they always sell so quick, reliably. You know, they're right in that like $25 to $32 mark. This is in like flawless condition. This feels like it's never really been worn. Like, there's no curling on the edges at all. You know, like linen can kind of get like rumpled up in that way that's tough to get out even with an iron. This almost like to the touch feels like brand new old stock. So somewhere again between that $25, $35 mark, and no doubt this will sell quickly. Size medium. Next up, now this is something I generally don't pick up, and I'm so interested to hear if you guys would have picked this up as well. This is Lauren by Ralph Lauren, and while I am a big fan of vintage Lauren pieces, I mean, I don't generally see more significant pieces from Lauren, and the less significant modern pieces I just leave behind. But I grabbed this because of what it is. So this is a navy blue satin cocktail dress, very, very simple, just kind of like knee or midi length. Super flattering ruching there at the waist, little V-neck, kind of surplice style V-neck. It's a size 14. It's in great condition. A little bit of like light picking on the bum, which just tells me that they probably like leaned against a wall. Any kind of satin like this is going to get picked like that pretty quickly. We shouldn't preclude it from selling. I just think that this is a very classic, easy dress to wear if you've got like a summer wedding. Sold comps on modern Lauren cocktail dresses range from like $15 to like $90. So there, I don't know. I don't know how I'm gonna do with this. I'm gonna probably bank somewhere between like 30 and 40 maybe. I think it's a good size. I think it's a good, easy to wear silhouette that will appeal to a lot of people. I think it's a great color. I think it's made really beautifully. So that's kind of why I grabbed it. Let me know though, guys, do you pick up modern Lauren by Ralph Lauren? If so, what do you pick up? And what do you think something like that is going to sell for? Because really, the sold comps are so all over the place. I'm very confused, and I'm rarely confused. I can usually like figure out what that mean line is, but it's so like I feel like there's very little in the middle. So we'll find out. Next up, I feel like I've been finding Viori every time I go to the bins recently. I don't say that to brag. I say that as a sign, right? In the same way that it used to be a real coup to find anything from Lululemon, it used to be a real coup to find anything from Viori. And I feel like I found a piece in like every one of my last visits. This is just like a little taupe crew neck. This is that dream knit crew neck sweatshirt. This is the logo you're looking for. As of right now, these are still selling for like great money. This has like a little sticky on the front. I'm gonna guess that this was a situation where they had a sticker on there and then they just put it through the wash so the adhesive kind of melted into the weave. So I'm gonna have to see if I can get that out. Like I know that there are things that I can use to get that out pretty easily. And if I can, I'll probably anticipate seeing like $30 on something like this. That's about what I've been seeing for this. So the prices on Viori, at least some pieces, have been coming down. So again, if you are outsourcing and maybe your thrift store is jacking up the price of Viori because it has been so talked about in like the reseller world, do a sold comp check, make sure your profit is there. But when you see it in the bins, of course you pick it up because you're at least gonna get, $20, $25 for pretty much anything from there, and the prices do go up. Like I just sold a sweatshirt for $98. So like there are certain pieces that are still fetching fantastic prices. Next up, this is something I grabbed like as I was leaving, and I grabbed it because of this. I initially thought when I grabbed this, I would have bet my life that I had seen a Miss Me label on here, and it's not Miss Me. I'm so interested to hear your guys' experience. Miss Me is just not something we see a lot of out here. Back in Utah, where I lived, like Miss Me was a big deal. Never my vibe, but like I lived in ranch land, so I saw a lot of girls walking around with those blingy back pockets. This is from a brand called Rebel, and I gotta say, like, in terms of the embellishment, it's pretty nice. Like even down to the front button, it's got like a little stone set in the middle of the front button, and back embellishment is in really great shape. This is size 9, so it's like a junior sizing. It's of course bootleg with that heavy duty like contrast stitching. Sold comps on these are about $30, but I'm really interested. Like I know that Miss Me jeans were like it for like 10 years in certain circles, and I know that they resold really well. If you are somebody who does Miss Me jeans, number 1, are they still selling really well? Number 2, what are they selling for these days? And number 3, like what is there like a specific thing we should be looking for in terms of the jeans? Like is there a specific line? You know how like 7 for All Mankind had like the A pocket and then like the other stitching on the back pockets. Is there anything like that with Miss Me that like make it more valuable than others? Like let me know, because this is just, that is such a world that I am not in any way educated on, and I know that there are people that live in areas where this is really, really popular. So like let us know what you know. As always, let's make sure we are snagging these gems out before they hit the baler. Next up, this was just a little easy grab. So this is a Intimately Free People little bralette. You can kind of see it's got corset style stitching there. Just like a little nude color, super, super stretchy. This feels like it would be so comfortable. It is brand new with tags, so I'll grab it. It looks like it retailed at like $30. I will probably anticipate getting like $15 for this. I see these a lot and I grab them a lot. You would be surprised how many of these I end up selling for like $25. Either maybe they're discontinued or whatever the case may be, but like if this is $30 retail and somebody's paying $25 for it, like you could probably get it to your home cheaper through Free People. So I'll never understand that, but they sell for me, even with like the expensive shipping from all the marketplaces. But yeah, I'll grab these anytime I see them, but only in the bins. Okay, next up, I love me a vintage silk blouse, and this one is a stunner. So this one is, I'm assuming this is the front, so it's got like a high drapey neckline and the buttons go all the way up. So I don't know if this is meant to be worn as like a turtleneck or if it's more, oh wait, no, that's the back. Okay, so this is the front. So this is the front. It kind of cowls over on a high neck. It's just a beautiful, very classic blouse. It's got a couple little specks on the back. I don't think that's a really huge deal. It's got a very delicately puffed sleeve. And the brand on this, or the designer on this, is Lloyd Williams. Never heard of it. Size 4. Like I said, it's overall in excellent condition. And the thing that I found really charming about it is you can kind of see where it was either belted or tucked into a pair of pants. Like you can see this right across the middle here. I love it when you get these vintage pieces and there's just like something about it that kind of tells a little bit of the story of where they lived before. So anything like this, I've sold a ton of blouses like this. Anything like this, I'm probably gonna see somewhere in the vicinity of like $30 to $40. That's about what I've gotten in the past. This one being silk charmeuse is slightly different. Usually I see just kind of like a plain weave, like a silk crepe, like a lightweight silk crepe, but I just thought that this was absolutely lovely and I'm never leaving anything like this behind. This is even the kind of thing, let's see, what was the original Goodwill price? Like $7 on this, I still probably would have bought this just because I know how well they sell. And I don't know if it's people buying them to like wear to work, to be like part of a work wardrobe, or if it's somebody doing like a period piece on like screen, or if it's somebody that's using this as like kind of like a vintage fashion moment. But either way, in terms of like my vintage pieces, these sell more reliably than just about any other vintage piece I find, with the exception of like men's leisure shirts, like either, you know, terry cloth or like that polyester or anything like that. And while we're at it, since we're talking about men's leisure shirts, I found this little beaut. So this is a 1970s vintage, very polyester men's flat pocket polo shirt. Now, the interesting thing about this for me, and like this tag is completely faded. Like I'm gonna guess that this is about a size large, maybe an extra large, but I love the piping. And the brand on this, which you can't see on the tag, but you can see on the pocket, is Berghaus. I don't know if that's showing up there. The brand here is Berghaus. And I don't know, I'm gonna guess that it is because this feels like this was kind of the sporty vibe back in the day. This is a company that makes like outdoors gear. Like my backpacking backpack is from Berghaus, and I'm assuming it's the same brand. So this will have that kind of double dip appeal in that this can fall into like the vintage core side. This can fall into like vintage sporting goods, retro sport. This can also fall into that like leisure wear category for people who don't necessarily care that this is from like a pretty well-known outdoors brand. I will probably see, again, for something like this, somewhere between like 28 and 35 bucks. Stuff like this sells really quickly. I think that the only thing that will slow this down is the color. This is just a pretty tough color for a lot of people to wear. So it's just really it's gonna limit that buyer pool to people who like won't look dead in a flesh color shirt. But either way, like I'm picking this kind of stuff up anytime I see it. I love men's vintage leisure wear. It sells so well for me. Next up, another vintage piece. This is the kind of thing I will also grab anytime I see it. And I know that there are people who don't have as good a success with this as I do, but this has a lot going for it. So it is leather, first and foremost. It is black leather, secondly, which is great. It is full on midi length. Like this is a good midi length skirt. Got a little split in the back. The big thing for this is that it's a size 16, which anything vintage in a plus size, and I'm gonna say that this is probably more towards like a modern size 12, but any kind of like vintage plus size piece is going to have a much faster sell-through rate than something that's like a size 2, just because of the relative rarity of it. Like they're out there, absolutely. There is a boutique, I think it's here in LA, that is specifically a vintage plus size boutique. And as somebody who's like not a size 2, that is so appealing to me because like I love vintage things. Love. But like nothing ever fits me. It's just hard to get your hands on. Something like this. The brand on this is Tiber. Not quite sure. I don't know if that's a particularly well-known name or anything like that. It doesn't necessarily matter. I will probably see somewhere north of $40 on this, typically on leather skirts, depending on the kind of leather skirt. But for the most part, I rarely see less than like $35. For like black leather skirts, I'm usually seeing a little bit more like 40, 50 bucks. I mean, because think about it this way. if you are buying a modern leather skirt, even the dirt cheapy leather skirt is going to cost you probably about $100. If you're getting into like a nicer leather skirt, you're looking at $300, $400, $500, up into the moon, right? Obviously you can pay well into the thousands for like designer brands. So these are the kind of things that people love to buy vintage, but especially when you're dealing with like vintage sizing, I always make sure that I'm getting a couple different measurements, especially with something like leather that does have a little give, but not a lot of give. So I'm always going to get that waist. I'm going to get at the hips. I'm going to get the length, you know, make sure that's all listed. I've actually had a lot of questions from you guys, and I'm interested to hear what you guys do. People have asked me like what I do when something is like vintage sized, but obviously not the same as like modern sized. You know, so for example, say that this, once I measure it, measures more like a modern size 12. I will generally list it as a size 12, and in like the title, in the description, like I will kind of highlight the fact that this is, you know, measures to a modern size 12, tagged 16. Because at the end of the day, for me, and this is why I do it, at the end of the day, I want this to show up in the search for people that it's actually going to fit. Like I had a situation where I had something that was tagged like a size 22, but it fit more like a modern, I want to say it was like a modern 12. Like it was a big difference. So I listed it as a size 12. I had like all of the disclaimers in the title, in the description. I had pictures of all the measurements, which I usually don't do. But just because it was such a big size discrepancy, you know, I kind of was overkill, and she absolutely blew a gasket about that. But at the end of the day, like I want people who are going to fit into the garments to find the garments. So if this is something that measures to like a modern size 10, I'm going to list it in like the actual size field as a size 10, and then kind of do the vintage disclaimer everywhere that I possibly can. What do you guys do? I'm so interested because this seems to be something that divides people. Don't get heated. Just let us all know what you do. And if you are just getting started and you're not sure how to handle those situations, take a look at people's procedures and see if one of those works for you. Next up, oh, I love this little dress. This is from Nafnaf. And you know, I grabbed this, I didn't even comp it in store. I don't think I necessarily need to. Nafnaf is a pretty like well-known designer. I want to say they're out of Paris. I want to say that they're French. And that is the logo there. I do think this is either Y2K or like late 90s vintage. And that's the main reason I picked this up. I love the little flutter sleeves. This is actually like a split flutter sleeve up top, so you can see that. It's a bias cut midi length dress. And you can see it's got kind of that contrast fabric there along the hem and up in the little godet that gives it its nice shape. This is in perfect condition. I want to do a little bit more research on age for this. It's fully lined in like a really soft kind of polyester. I just thought that this was very, very cute. Nafnaf, again, another one of those brands that has had mixed results for me. I think more than anything, the style will sell this. It's one of those brands that just way fewer people know here in the States than do in Europe. I'm pretty sure it's like a very well-known brand over there. If any of you guys are, you know, originally European, let me know what you know about Nafnaf, because I don't think that they're around anymore. When I looked it up, the website that I could find was in Spanish, so maybe it's a Spanish brand. But either way, it looks to be pretty pricey. Like I remember like tank tops were like $138 US. I don't know if it's a different price for the US because of tariffs and everything that's happening, but either way, I anticipate seeing probably somewhere around 40 to 50 bucks on this, maybe a little bit more. I just thought it was so cute. Perfect for like a spring wedding, or you're going to like a baby shower, like a nice date night. This is a perfect little dress. So cute. And in like flawless condition. That feels brand new. Next up, a great little elevated basic. This is from J.Jill. I feel like I haven't been seeing much like good J.Jill recently. Few pieces here and there, but this I just thought was super cute. This is like a cotton. This almost feels like linen, but it's not. It's cotton. I like this like micro cable knit. It's taupe. It's pullover style, so it's got that V-neck. This feels very beach to me. Like I can see a girl throwing this over a bathing suit, a pair of white shorts, and she's ready for like a casual dinner down the shore. But it's in great condition. It's a size extra large. As with most things from J.Jill, very much in that bread and butter territory. I'll probably see somewhere, you know, again, between 20 and 35 on that. And I would anticipate fairly soon, because that does feel like a very summery sweater. More so than it feels like a wintry sweater. Like there is a distinction. and that is summer. Next up, this is one from Banana Republic. And you know, I love Banana Republic. I think that their stuff is really, really well made. I don't grab a ton of it. It doesn't tend to resell very well for me. This dress though, I had to get. My God, do I wish I can find something like this in my size that's not white. I've got an island wedding to go to, and I think that this is just so cute. So this is very modern minimalist, and it feels like very unusual. This feels like something you would get at COS. I'll put it that way. This feels like a COS dress. So it's 100% linen. It's got this one sculptural arm. It's one shoulder, and it's like a trapeze silhouette with a really wide, like heavy hemline. This feels to me immediately like I would anticipate feeling like horsehair braid in there. There's no horsehair, but the thickness of it, you can kind of see it starts like right here. So it's a good like 2-3 inches of hemline. I just think it's so chic. I think it is so chic. It's got pockets. This is an extra small though. Unfortunately, like this, it doesn't even cover the distance like laying it down, but it is so chic. So excited to get this moved. I mean, I feel like if this were like my bridal season and I had like a bachelorette party at the shore, or I had like a bridal shower, like this all day long, I'm going to anticipate somewhere between 30 and 40 bucks for this, maybe a little bit more. I just think that this is so unbelievably refined and chic and such a departure to me, like in my opinion, from Banana Republic's typical style. Love it. Love it so much. Love it so much. We'll use all of the little white dress keywords and I will get that moved on hopefully soon. Okay, next up, I found this great little Hawaiian style shirt, aloha shirt. And the cotton felt really, really nice to me. And when I looked at the inside tag, I was pretty surprised. This is from Guy Laroche, who was a very like high-end French men's designer. This does not feel like anything that I've ever seen from Guy Laroche. Now, admittedly, I didn't really follow him very closely. I knew the name more than I know like his work. So I'm interested to see how this does, what kind of market there is for a Guy Laroche aloha shirt. I know that there are certain brands of aloha shirts that people really love, so I have to do a lot more research on this. This is another one of those designers that I see people selling them for like $10 and then I see people selling them for $150. So I'm going to do a little bit more research and figure out what to list this for. I'm gonna guess probably somewhere 30 to 40 bucks, maybe up to like 50, 60, just given the name. But like, let me know, is Guy Laroche a name that you guys know? Like, I feel like it was just kind of part of my language growing up. Almost like a word that I would use for somebody who's like highfalutin. But like when I was like 8, you know, like I feel like this was a name that I've known for a very long time in name only. I don't know. It just really brought that up for me, but pretty exciting to see it in real life, and I can't wait to learn a little bit more about this. If you have had experience with Guy Laroche pieces, like let me know what was it, how fast did it sell, what did you get for it, you know, tell me your personal anecdotes, because the sold comps are not giving me much of a pattern to follow, you know? Next up, I found these pants from Uniqlo. And Uniqlo's not a brand I pick up a ton of. I do look out for their collaboration pieces. Certain pieces in their collaborations sell very, very well. Like anything plus J, now that they're not doing it anymore, sells very well. But these are brand new with tags, and that's the reason I picked these up. And they're just like a grayish. This is very much a grayish. It's not straight gray and it's not straight beige. Little satin wide leg pant with like a drawstring waist. I'm going to anticipate seeing somewhere like 20, 25 bucks on this, and I have no doubt that it will sell very quickly. Anything Uniqlo new with tags has sold so fast with me, and I'm talking usually like within a day or two. So even at the bins, I'm not picking up most Uniqlo pieces, because most, you know, Uniqlo like retail is not super expensive. These were $39.90, and it almost looks like they were re-tagged, I'm gonna guess, due to tariffs. So like I said, I'll probably see like $20, $25 on this. But if they were not new with tags, I would anticipate that these would sell between like 10 and 15. And for what I do, that's not enough like meat on the bone for me. But you know, if you're somebody who goes like high volume, low margin, Uniqlo stuff probably does pretty well for you. If that is your business model, do you do Uniqlo, and does it sell as fast and as well as I think it does? Let me know. Oh, next up, this was such an interesting thing. I picked this up because it feels so wildly well made. It's just like a little tank top. It's like a little cotton tank top. The print on this gives me all of those like 90s Botticelli vibes, right? Like I feel like we just talked about this last week, but that's the exact feeling that this gives me. This is new. This is from a newer brand. It's called Big Bud Press, and this is their cropped tank top. And the thing for me is that like the way that this neckline is designed is so flawless. When you have a bust in there and it'll literally stretch it out to like the perfect almost square neck. So flattering. Beautifully made. It's definitely 100% cotton. It stretches beautifully. Retail on these is about $58 for just the tank top. And on the resale market, and I think that this print is like out of production, so I'm interested to see. It's a small brand, niche brand, but it looks like they resell quite well in the like $30 to $35 range. Because this is out of print, this might go for a bit of a premium. I would imagine that this company, just based on like their construction and how everything is made and everything, I'm gonna guess that they do small batch, and I'm gonna guess they do it locally. Yeah, made in LA. So I'm interested to see how this does. I mean, I don't think it's a brand you guys are gonna see all that much. Let me know if you have found it before, but keep your eyes out for it. I do think that this will draw your eyes just based on the quality though, if you do run across a piece. The construction on this is like outrageous. So very cool. And I think like something that the girls will really love. I think that this print in particular is a vibe that is happening right now. Next up, oh, I've had several pairs of these and every single pair has sold very similarly. This is Intimately Free People. And this is their viscose satin pajama pants. So they're super wide leg. They've got a raw edge. These feel like they've really never been worn. Like this feels like the factory fraying on this. They do get a little bit more chewed up as you wash it. These feel like perfect condition. These will sell probably somewhere between like 30 and 45 bucks. Every single pair of these that I have ever gotten my hands on have sold within like a day or two. So I would anticipate about the same happening. Maybe I would say like a little bit slower because they're long pajama pants, but also this is the kind of thing that somebody will 100% wear as like regular pants out and about. Very cool. Pick these up, feel comfortable paying up for them. Do check condition, but like feel comfortable paying up for them. I've just had such good experience with those pajama pants. Oh, next up, I've got a couple things for my dad, so I'll just kind of glaze over them real quick. My mom's been on the hunt for like a lightweight denim shirt for him, so I got him for this. It's from the Gap. It's in great condition. I'm just gonna set that aside to go right into the wash. And the other thing I grabbed for him is this Polo Golf little striped polo shirt. He looks so good in light blue. He's got like very icy blue eyes, which I did not get, just FYI. Not that I'm bitter. But anyway, so I grabbed these for him. I mean, I don't know if I would have grabbed either of these to resell. I mean, Polo's so expensive. This was probably like $129, but it would have resold like 15, 20 bucks. But if they fit him, I think they'll look fantastic for him. Next up, I've had two of this exact same dress before. This is from Sundry. Sundry is a really expensive brand. They are sold at places like Kitson. They are sold at, I think, Anthropology as well. This is just a little like slub knit cotton jersey, little baby puff sleeve, ruched t-shirt dress. This is like the perfect little casual dress. Throw this on with some white sneakers and you're like out the door. I've sold this dress in particular, I want to say like 34, 35 bucks. I want to say that the other one I had, I don't know if it was exactly the same as this, but it was like very much the same vein. That was black and that sold for like 45. I'm going to anticipate somewhere $30, $35 on this. It is a size 2. I can't remember if Sundry, like if size 2 for Sundry is like a size medium. But either way, these little like cotton t-shirt dresses, especially right now, sell very, very well for me. And Sundry is a very expensive brand. I also recommend if you are like shopping for yourself and you're looking for basics like that, check out Sundry because that was probably like $150. Like Sundry is one of those brands that's like very, very pricey for very basic things. And you can get them at a great price on the resale market in like basically brand new condition. So if you are a shopper, definitely a label to have on your radar if that's the kind of stuff you're looking for. Oh, next up. Okay, this is very cool. So this is a pair of shorts from Polo Ralph Lauren. And the main reason I picked these up is because they're terry cloth. Like I'm always on the lookout for terry cloth, like loungewear. For whatever reason, it sells very well. I love a terry cloth button-down shirt, a cabana shirt. I love terry cloth shorts. Vintage sport remains very popular. But the thing that I love most about this is that these are from the US Open. And I don't know if these are maybe a pair of shorts that was gifted to the competitors, or maybe something that they gave to like the ball boys, ball girls. Like this could have been part of this could have been part of like their uniform, or this could have been a merch piece. So I'm going to dig in to see what I can find on these, but similarly like event branded shorts from Polo have resold at like $90. Which seems crazy, but like people pay that for stuff like that. I always say that about the Masters as well. US Open to tennis in this country is what the Masters is to golf in terms of like the flex that is going to those events. Maybe if you're really into tennis, you know about Indian Wells, right? Like that's here in like the Coachella Valley. For golf, sure, people know about like the Ryder Cup, right? For golf. But everybody knows about the Masters in golf. Everybody knows about the US Open in tennis. So I'm interested to see what I'll get for these. They're a size large. They're in like perfect condition. I'll try to do a little bit more research and figure out what they are and get them priced accordingly. But man, my eyes nearly popped out of my head when I saw some of the resale prices for stuff like this. Like, all to say that you've been there? I don't know. Maybe they're collectors. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. It is wild what some people will pay for stuff like this. All right, next up, I found this great merino wool scarf. I got to pick these things up when I see them. It is just this kind of like open weave. It's quite soft. The brand on this is Merino Snug. It looks like it's made in Australia. And okay, this is a blend of merino wool and Possum. I talk about the Baader-Meinhof phenomenon all the time. And I mostly in the comments, I've talked about it on the channel a few times. But it is this phenomenon where when you like learn about something new, you will see it in like regular life sometime soon. So like, for example, say you've never heard of Sundry, right? And like the next time you go out thrifting, you find a great Sundry piece, right? Like that is the Baader-Meinhof phenomenon. So just a few weeks ago, I had like a sweater on here that had some kind of unusual fiber in it, like not raccoon, but something in that vein. Oh, it was yak. And in the comments, a couple of people like chimed in and said, oh, I found something with like raccoon fur. And somebody came in and said that they found something with possum fur just recently. And I was like, possum? Like of all things, like roadkill possum, And Baader-Meinhof phenomenon, just like in action right before my eyes. I just recently in the last like week or two learned that possum fur is something that people use. And here's a piece that fell into my lap. I believe you also mentioned that the sweater that you got was from like New Zealand or Australia as well. So maybe it's a thing there. I don't know. Either way, something like this, I'll probably get like 30 to 40 bucks. Might not sell until closer to winter, but I cannot leave something like this behind, especially when it's in great condition. Baader-Meinhof phenomenon, guys. It's a real thing, and I know it happens to you guys all the time. It happens to me all the time, and you guys, even if you don't know what the Baader-Meinhof phenomenon is, what you describe to me all the time in the comments is the Baader-Meinhof phenomenon. It is wild. Next up, we are continuing on a trend here. This is a beautiful velvet button-down shirt, black velvet button-down shirt from Citron. And once again, we are continuing the trend of me never having found a printed piece from Citron ever. Like, I feel like they only have 2 things on their entire website that are not printed. And everything I've ever found from them has been 100% solid. This is just like a beautiful, plain, kind of crushed velvet button-down shirt. It's a size small. This will sell in no time flat because it's Citron and people really love it. It's a size small, very oversized fit. Like this could easily fit, I'd say probably up to a size large and still be quite oversized. Like this is like free people oversized. I'll probably see somewhere 35 to 45 bucks on this. Citron is super expensive. Obviously, people really want the printed pieces, but maybe someday I'll find one that isn't 100% solid. Like at this point, it's kind of comedy to me. I found this and laughed out loud in the bins, but I'm gonna grab Citron anytime I see it. And this is the older label. Their newer label has like a lemon on it, but doesn't necessarily matter. It's in fantastic condition. A brand to feel comfortable paying up for sure. Oh, next up, had to grab these. I have to do a little bit more research, but this is a little pair of vintage lace trim bloomer shorts. They are quite small, very stretchy. The brand on this seems to be Liberté. They're a size small, style 397. So I'll have to do a little bit more research, but they have the Union label there on the back, which I can go and look up. There's a resource online where you can look up the crest that you have and date it within a few years. I want to say this is probably 50s. I love the color. They're in flawless condition. I'm going to guess that these were really not used all that much because there is like no wear at all on any of this. So I'm not quite sure what I'll get for this, maybe like 20 bucks. Could be considerably more depending on how rare these are, but I haven't really done too much digging. I just grabbed them because I had to. And you can't really tell, these look really white on camera, but these are like a seafoam green. There it is next to white to give you a little bit of contrast. Next up, we got a little Bolo brand here. This is House of CB. Definitely a brand to keep your eyes out for. They're mostly known for their very form-fitting dresses. Like their whole shtick is like celebrating the curves of a woman. So they were really like on the forefront of the trend of those like corset dresses. That's really what they got known for. But they do a lot of loungewear. They do a lot more soft clothing these days. And this is like a little romper. And the fabric is similar to that of like Barefoot Dreams. It's that kind of soft, fuzzy, I guess sweater-ish material. The fact that it is brown and a size large and in basically brand new condition is very, very good. I'm gonna guess I'll see for something like this, like 40 to 50 bucks. Their dresses, I generally get somewhere around $100. Some go up, especially if they're like sold out. But like on the retail market, something like this was probably like $150. Their dresses are generally like $200 to $300. So pretty expensive. I think that their quality is quite nice. Like their corsetry is really solid. Like their build quality is quite nice. So it's a brand I love to see. I don't see it all that often. I generally find like maybe 2 or 3 pieces a year. So I'll take it. Bolo brand for sure. Next up, I will show these two together because they're from the same brand and they're the same size. These are 2 skirts from Fresh Produce. I haven't found Fresh Produce in a while. Really like high-end organic essentials brand. This one's like a black slub knit, just mini skirt. And then this one is more of like a tencel fabric and it's a little soft skirt. So these probably retailed somewhere in the like $100 range. Fresh Produce is super expensive. Their t-shirts I want to say are like 80 bucks. Very pricey, and they have a cult following. They actually have, the only place I've ever seen like a brick and mortar is they have a brick and mortar in Laguna Beach, which is a very, very, very expensive little town here in Southern California. You know, so if they are kind of the status where they have a standalone boutique in Laguna Beach, you know that they're pricey. But I'll probably see somewhere between 20 and 30 bucks on both of these. I might consider keeping the skirt for myself because I've been kind of in the market for a skirt and I want one that doesn't look too terribly sporty, which is kind of hard to find. Like I don't want like a Lululemon logo somewhere on it. So I will probably try this on and if it works, keep it for myself. If not, again, somewhere 20 to 30 bucks on these and no doubt they'll go quickly. Everything I've ever had from Fresh Produce sells so much faster than I anticipate. Next up, we've got another Bolo here. This is Outerknown. And this is like a light pink blanket shirt. So this is like the piece from Outerknown. Like this is what they are known for. So it's this like heavyweight, oversized twill. I don't know if you can kind of see that weave there. It's like an oversized twill weave. And they call this the blanket shirt. These retail, I think they're like 180 bucks retail. And on the secondhand market, I will probably see somewhere between like 40 and 60 bucks on this. This is a brand to be very, very comfortable paying up for. I don't know if I showed that label. This is a brand to be very comfortable paying up for. It was co-founded by Kelly Slater. It is very much like of his vibe. Lots of like, again, organic cotton, very casual staple pieces, staple wardrobe pieces. Nothing flashy. Nothing over the top, everything like everyday wear, just like this. So pumped to find a blanket shirt in the bins. I have never found a blanket shirt in the bins. I found them in the regular thrift, but never in the bins. Just have 5 to go, and this is, oh my God, I was so excited to find this. I saw like the pleated mesh and I was like all about that. You know, I am here for a pleated mesh moment. And then I picked it up and I saw a little bit closer what it was. And this is vintage Betsy Johnson. I'm gonna guess that this is roughly Y2K Betsy Johnson. I don't know if this had a slip with it or if this was meant to be like a nightie, but either way, vintage Betsy Johnson can sell for a ton of money. I'm talking north of $100. Now, for something like this, I'm not quite sure because it is sheer and because it is online. I mean, like I can use naked dress for this and somebody would just throw on, you know, something under the bust and maybe a pair of skivvies and they would wear this out for the night. Somebody could also just throw on whatever slip that they're comfortable in. It is flawless condition. This is definitely the vintage label, the black woven one. I was like doing a happy dance. I love Betsy Johnson, period. Just like as a human being, I think she is incredible. So anytime I can find a vintage piece from her, I am stupid pumped. Stupid pumped. Love it so much. But I'm going to anticipate somewhere between 50 and 100 bucks on this. And I think that this will sell in 0 minutes because vintage Betsy is in very, very high demand right now. And like the pleats are perfect. Absolutely perfect. The challenge for me, like mentally, is going to be shipping this in a way that I feel like it's not going to crush those pleats. Unbelievable. Next up, another vintage banger. This one is from Corky Craig, California. And I feel like some of you guys who are born and raised out here in California will remember this label. Like the name in and of itself is very familiar to me, but I know I've never seen that tag before and I was certainly not raised out here. So let me know what you know. But this little 70s vintage dreamboat has this kind of, so these are the sleeves. So it's like a flutter sleeve. It comes straight from the bust. It's a deep V. It is maxi length. This is all polyester, like a printed polyester. Just everything about this is so fabulous. There's a little bit of like age staining to it, so I might do a retro clean soak to it. You can tell that it was cut at the bottom, so somebody like hemmed this on their own. Luckily, this kind of polyester doesn't fray, so it doesn't look terrible. And it is quite long, so like this must have been very long when it was new. So I'm not quite sure what I'll get for something like this. I'm gonna see what a cleaning will do, because that's gonna really determine the value. But I like if I can get this in good shape, I would not doubt that I'll see like 100 bucks for something like this. I think it's really fabulous. I think the style is great. I don't know with it being this fabric, if this was meant to be like a nightgown. I don't think it was with the lining and the way that it's constructed. I think that this could easily be like a formal dress for somebody. But like I said, TBD in terms of like what I can do with the cleaning. But either like I'm not leaving this behind ever, 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 ever. So somewhere between 30 bucks and like 120 bucks, somewhere in that range. Next up, speaking of naked dresses, this is from Jovani. Hello, it was a great day at the bins. So this is a little mini dress and it's gonna be kind of hard to tell, but this is, you can kind of see my hand behind it, right? So this is how it's meant to be worn. It's got more like concentrated beading over like the waist area and of course the bust. So this is meant to be like a sheer naked dress. And the funny thing is when I got it, the one strap was detached and I'm like, oh, you know, maybe I can just stitch that in. But it had a hook and eye. This is actually how you get into and out of the dress because this is very form-fitting. It's got these little hook and eyes that connect the strap underneath the arm, just like that. So this is a size 2. Don't think it matters. I love that on the inside, it's got like an advertisement basically. So I don't know how old this is. This is maybe Y2K. On the inside, there's a tag that says, for specialists in proper cleaning of this fine garment, we recommend you trust only worldwide gown cleaning. And it says call toll free and it's got a toll free number. So I want to do a little bit of research. I feel like this might be like Y2K vintage, but that is the label. Jovani is incredibly expensive. If this is modern, this was probably a good $900 dress. If this was vintage, this was probably like $700. But for the Y2K era, that's a ton of money. Mini length, gorgeous condition. And just like, let me get you up close to that. So it's like holographic sequins, and interspersed there are like gems, like straight up rhinestones, almost like Aurora Borealis. You can kind of see one right here. Aurora Borealis crystals. This thing is unbelievable. I would give this to my friend who is a size 2, but I have already given her a Jovani dress, and this one is for the girls out in the world. Absolutely stunning. I was over the moon to find this, and I was like doubly over the moon to see that strap just attached beautifully. There's like a few missing stones here and there, but overall like incredible condition. And could you imagine the way that jaws would drop walking in this dress? I'm gonna guess, like vintage or not, that I'll probably see somewhere in the vicinity of like $100 to $200 on this. And I have no doubt with clever keywording that this will be a quick sale. Like, look at the way this beading is done. Can you kind of see, like, so there's stones here, and the way that the sequining is done is like radiating out from the little stones. Like, just the work on this and the work on the other Jovani dresses that I've seen is unbelievable. And I'm gonna keep this one far away from the net dress because prongs and mesh don't match well. Just 3 to go here, and the first piece I found was this gorgeous little Escada shirt. So this is like a quilted cotton. I'm gonna guess that at one point this was part of a set. This feels like something that would have a matching pair of pants with it, but it is like a bright sunshine yellow with some white piping. This is like cotton silk. Like, Escada is very, very high end. Made in Germany, all right? That's all you need to know. This is a size 44, which I think is like a size large or extra large. It is a tailored fit. I like that the buttons have little like dolphins on it. I'll probably see 40 to 50 bucks on this. I think that this is fairly new and it's very preppy, very old money, very like classic, tailored, all of those keywords. Got a little bit of makeup along the neckline, but for something like this from Escada, I might take this to get it dry cleaned and have a professional take care of that. Next up, oh my God, I love this dress so much. So this is another 90s vintage stunner. This is from Kay Unger, who is a very high-end designer. She is sold at like Neiman Marcus. I think it was my 8th grade dance dress. Nope, my 9th grade dance dress was from Kay Unger, which was like the dream dress. And I bought it at either off 5th or last call at the Franklin Mills Mall. Let me know about Franklin Mills if you are local. Does it still have that horrifying Ben Franklin head? I still have nightmares about it. Anyway, this is straight up 90s. This is double layer mesh. It's got a little boat neck. It's got ruching in the middle and it's midi length. This is so of 1996 and of right now. This is exactly the 90s vintage style that people are looking for right now. Absolutely, positively love it. I think that I will probably see somewhere between $50 and $100 on this. And I think that it will move quite quickly. Like, this is something that is like a perfect wedding guest dress, something like that. And again, like there are, House of CB is making dresses that look like this, but they're modern. This is the real deal vintage. Absolutely stunning. It's also a size large, which I love. And then finally, a label that is exciting for me and anybody to find. I found this gorgeous little merino wool turtleneck from Burberry. Hello, what? This is a classic turtleneck, 100% merino wool, just a very classic fit. It's got the little embroidered knightsman here down at the bottom. All the tags look legit. Like, this is not the kind of thing that somebody will dupe. You know what I'm saying? Like, typically if you see a duped Burberry piece, it's got like the Nova check somewhere. It's got the logo somewhere. This is so subtle. Like, this is true quiet luxury. There's no way that this is duped. Also, like, the way that all the tags are attached is correct. The tags read correct. Everything about this is just gorgeous. Made in Italy, 100% extra fine merino wool. And I will anticipate it's in like flawless condition. There's no like moth holes, which is always the risk when you're dealing with merino wool. Guys, cedar in your closets, please. But I'll probably see somewhere around $100 on this. Just like, again, the perfect little cherry to a very good day at the bins. I mean, I am excited anytime I find a Burberry piece at the bins or at the thrift. And I'll tell you, this was in a bin that was just about to be rolled off. So it was a bin that had been searched through multiple times, but because it's just a plain old turtleneck, People just went right past it. So don't discount those old bins, guys. But guys, that is it. That is the haul for today. What an unbelievable day at the bins. Again, I didn't have a ton of time there, but in terms of value, like retail value on everything I got, this adds up to about $8,000. And in terms of resale value, there's some variation with things like the Jovani dress and stuff like that I'm not quite sure, like there's a big swath, but I think I've got somewhere between like $1,500 and $1,600 in sales here. So I'd say it was a pretty dang good day. But guys, thank you so much for hanging with me and nerding out about these things. Like I can't even tell you, there are times when I am like digging through the bins and I find something and I'm like, I can't wait to show everybody. Like that's what goes through my head first. Not I can't wait to sell it. Not how cool is this? I cannot wait to show you guys. But either way, guys, if you had fun, please consider leaving a like or a comment on this video. Of course, don't forget to hit subscribe. I would love to have you along on this journey. All of that helps me out so much with YouTube. But without further ado, guys, I hope you have the most beautiful week. Happy hunting, and I will see you all in the next one.